6th annual Waggy T Super Knockout Tournament. Game 1, playoff for the 3rd place, features Queensback Rangers up against Paradise Football Club International. As the teams meet and greet, let me introduce you to the first 11 for both teams. Paradise Football Club will be captained by number 20, Jake Rennie. Goalkeeper, number 1, Jason Belfont. Number 13, Wendell Rennie. Number 12, Shakim Richards. Number 17, Quinton Rennie. Number 10, Shane Rennie. Number 5, Jerry Parrott. Number 6, Joey Rennie. Number 9, Stephen Whiteman. And number 8, Lyndon Rennie. The team is coached by Kurt Rennie and managed by Oscar Williams. Queensback Rangers, captained by number 17, Ricky Charles. Making up the first 11, number 6, Anthony Modest. Goalkeeper number 30, Gilbert Barry. Number 20, Junior Cyrus. Number 14, Aaron Kingston. Number 13, Kevin McEwen. Number 8, Alistair Fleming. Number 10, Brian Andrews. Number 11, Keshawn James. Number 9, Rikel Charles. And number 21, Remington Charles. The team is coached by Anthony Nixon Modest. Ladies and gents, these are our teams. And officiating this game, the man in charge of the whistle, Mr. George Phillip. First assistant, Quan Burden. Second assistant, Allison Phillip. And the 4th official, Stevie Ranger. With the whistle, I will say, let the games begin. And ladies and gents, we're off. Paradise Football Club up against Queensback Rangers for the 3rd place in this, the 6th annual Waggy T Super Knockout Tournament. In the 5th minute of play, it's 0-0. Paradise versus Queen's Park Rangers. And the excitement has started. Nil-nil is the call at this time. Paradise Football Club International doing it with Queen's Park Rangers for the 3rd place in this the 6th annual Waggy T Super Knockout. We've got a player down, Mr. Ref, and he's being attended to by Referee George Phillip is checking on the player. Paradise player is down. It's number 10, Shane Reddy. Alright, he seems to be okay. Well, that's good news. In the 10th minute of play, the score remains 0-0. Third place playoff of the Super Waggy T knockout.
Good night, and welcome to the third place playoff, the Waggy T Super Knockout football finals between Queen's Park Rangers and Paradise FC. We have begun about 25-30 minutes away, and the game is still 0-0 to Paradise. With me is my good friend and colleague, Mr. Dean Jules, who has been a fervent admirer of the game of football in Grenada, and also one of the former good players of a number of teams in Grenada. Mr. Jules, welcome to the commentary, and your comments, please.
Thank you, Griff, and good night to all the football fans out there. We're here to witness the 6th Waggy T Super Knockout Finals. This is the third place playoff between Queen's Park Rangers and Paradise, and we expect to see some keen competition in this match for the third place playoff.
Yeah, and as we realize here, Mr. Jules, that both teams are playing in red and white. However, Paradise is a little lighter red than Queen's Park Rangers, so we have to be able to distinguish between Paradise and Queen's Park Rangers. As it stands now, we notice that Queen's Park Rangers is in control of the game, and they're actually attacking from left to right. Those of us who know the Grenville, Victoria Park in Grenville would know that the seaside is, if we talk about the car park,
yes,
we'll be able to distinguish between the car park and where Rangers is attacking, and the defending side where Paradise is defending. But so far, you know, the game is 0-0, but we have had some weeks of a lot of rainfall, tremendous amount of rainfall in St. Andrews, and in particular Victoria Park, Grenville. So we pray that the game would be one of good talent and good exhibit from both teams, and the spectators who have journeyed from far to witness this great challenge between Paradise and Rangers, both Premier League teams, would get a value for money.
Sure, and I believe that the both teams, despite they're contesting for the third place playoff, they would want to go home with that money, right? We can see here surely that the field condition is a bit under what we expect, but it's nothing to do with the staff here. And as you mentioned, it is as a result of the number of weeks of heavy rain we've experienced actually in the month of November. And as a result, that interfered with the condition of the field. We just see a shot being taken there, and the ball went over the bar into touch, and that going to be a goal kick for it looked like
for Rangers.
Queensbrook Rangers.
Yes, I really applaud the effort of the organizer, Waggy T, who has done in our view a tremendous effort to bring that level of football to St. Andrews. But whereas he has done a great effort, you cannot really determine the quality of the game because of the ground condition. So we hope and pray that the players will settle along and give the spectators value for their money. There are 2 games tonight. There is a third place playoff and the finals, which will be starting shortly, and there's a big show on. But you have a lot of players are actually vying for the third place and also the championship.
Sure, but let me step back a little bit. We just saw that Paradise coming very close to convert their Rangers. It was very, very close, and it's a chance went a begging, so to speak. Nevertheless, in regards to the organization, yes, we have to applaud Wayne Waggy T Redhead, because this is the 6th time this competition has been hosted, and to do that in Grenada, it's a remarkable effort, right? Where one would invest in young people in particular, because the teams that we are watching here comprise of a number of young, talented players from a wide cross-section of Grenada, and it's a good opportunity for them to exercise the talent. We also have many stalwarts that have served Grenada at the highest level, and this is really good for football and in the parish of St. Andrew.
Yeah, but Mr. Jules, tell us how both teams are able to be eliminated to get to the third place playoff, because they would have been beaten by other teams who would be playing in the finals just soon after this game. So maybe you could indicate to us the teams which played to have eliminated these 2 teams. I know for a fact that Rangers would have been beaten by I know Paradise would have been beaten by Hurricanes and penalty kicks, and Rangers would have been beaten by GBSS. So it means that the finals, which we will be witnessing shortly, would be contested between GBSS and Hurricanes. Yes. So it means that these 4 teams would be, if you ask me, would be on the same level. So far, the game is 0-0, and you have not really witnessed anything happening differently as compared to the previous games. It's just that both teams are vying, as in a boxing game. They're looking for the weak areas and thereby trying to push their attack. But the ground condition does not warrant the quality of football that we expect to have happened at a third place player. But we have to witness the quality, witness the competitiveness of both teams as they continue to vie for third place.
Sure, I think both teams are trying, given the field condition. But as you said, the surface does not is not conducive to what we call nice football or beautiful football. The ball, some areas is very soft, and some areas is kind of bouncy, as we would say. So we wouldn't see the ball rolling on the surface very smoothly. Nevertheless, the players are trying the best to play given the condition, and I believe that the game as it progressed would improve in quality.
Actually, Mr. Jose, I must say that this is one of the better days we have had over the last month. As we agreed and we have actually mentioned before, within the past month there have been tremendous amount of rainfall in St. Andrews, and maybe some people would agree that the other parts of Grenada, having not had much rain today, would have given the ground time to dry off in certain parts.
Well, certainly, but we have to consider that this area is under sea level, and as a result of the weeks and weeks of heavy downpour, the soil is so saturated that it becomes very soggy, and that's why you see the condition of the field is as is. However, it will take quite a number of days and probably weeks of good sunshine to bring back the surface to what we knew it to be.
In fact, on our way to the commentary booth here, we found that the ground was very soggy, and you actually had to actually search your way through, and to avoid being stuck in the mud, as we would put it. But having said that, the game is on, and both teams are vying for third place. So we have to really applaud the effort of the organizers, the ground staff, to really have this game, because we see that there are some sandy patches.
And it's a good save, and it could be.
And it's a goal line by Paradise. Paradise have opened the score.
And it looks like it's Rennie. Shane Rennie. Very beautiful volley. Was a beautiful save by the keeper. Initially, yes.
Initial save, but again the rebound. There were no defenders around to really clear the ball out of the defending third. And Shane Rennie was able to pounce on his opportunity and score.
And that's what you call a striker with good quality, because he was able to take the second chance and convert. He was sharper than all the others in and around that penalty area there. And as the goalkeeper parried the ball out, that second chance came his way and he put it in the back of the net. So it was a well taken chance there, and giving his team the lead by 1-0.
It's a quality finish by Shane Rennie. And now we have Rinders with a touch off there. Rinders in control and possession of the ball. Again, a challenge by Paradise. The ball goes into touch for a throw-in to Rangers. Rinders is in control of the play as we speak. But at this point, they are 1 goal down. And it shows that with notwithstanding the condition of the ground, Mr. Drews, the quality of play from Paradise has indicated that there's a lot more to come from them in the
Sure, and you can see that it's showing that they have an appetite for winning. They're hungry. They're fast to the ball, and once you see a team continue to do that, it means that they will be able to create goal-scoring opportunities like they did, and put the opponent under pressure, especially when they get into the attacking third.
And of course, they're trying to do what we have been saying for all teams in Grenada: try to have some organized play, trying to organize the ball from defense into midfield to your offensive players, your strikers. And Paradise is really trying to organize themselves into an organized format in their trust towards having a second goal.
Yes, and another element to observe is that they do not take too many touch on the ball. The ball is moving around quite fast, and as once you continue to do so, it makes your opponent have to run a lot, and you can open space, probably using the flank as they have done, to create that first chance which they converted.
So you're not missing much at this point. Even our little discussion, Rangers now is in control of the play. They're trying to make they're trying to organize their passes. Again, it's an unforced error there. Play out again. It's an unforced error by Rangers, intercepted by Paradise. One back again by Rangers, and they have Rangers in the dark red and white. Then there is a thrust there by Paradise, winning the ball again. Number 15 player who is now in control. Again, the ball is miscontrolled. Rangers now wins it back. And we see there's a toss in the middle of the field, which we call the middle third. And Rangers now is in control of the ball there with player number 10. Loses the ball in the process. And Paradise now has the ball to build a play.
Is Brian Andrew.
Send a deep through ball, which again is well defended by Rangers and played out into the attacking the middle third, but the ball goes into touch. And as we speak here, we have a player down from Paradise who is actually looking on taking off his shoe. He seems to have some sort of a
discomfort in the ankle area.
And the technical staff is being called onto the field to, that seems to be one of Paradise's better players. Let's see, we haven't seen his number, so we can't see what his name. We can identify, we can define by name, by face, but we don't know what his name is. So let's see.
Nevertheless, the other players of Paradise using this opportunity to get some water, to refresh themselves there.
Mr. Jules, I just want to touch base with the number of players that Paradise has with the name of Rennie. You have Jake Rennie, you have Wendell Rennie, and you have Eldon Rennie, you have Chad Rennie, you have Quinton Rennie, Shane Rennie, Sharon Rennie, you have Lyndon Rennie. It's quite a Rennie.
It's a Rennie family. It's a Rennie team.
It is really an overkill of the Rennie family.
Yes.
But they have been doing well. They have won the league,
and serving
the Premier League,
and
they continue to serve the team at the highest level. So the say if it's not broke, don't fix it.
That's correct. And why change a team that's winning?
It's a foul there on one of the Rennie boys. Yes, on number 20. I think that name is Sipper.
Yeah,
we know him by Sipper. One of the long-standing players of Queen's Park Rangers.
Yeah, it's Junior Cyrus.
Right,
is his name
there. Player number 14 kicks the ball along downfield.
Here and Kingston
plays it to one of his strikers. Right, again, Rangers has the ball in their possession, tries to make a 1-2, loses the ball in his possession, but again, Sipper has the ball within his control. Player number 20, but he's too slow on the ball, and again, the reaction, Mr. Drew, we realize that some players are too tentative when they have the ball because their first touch is so poor. They tend to make 1, 2, and 3 touches before they actually control the ball.
Yeah, that's true, but I observe that the surface is posing some difficulty for the players, especially on that side, closer to where we are giving commentary from. So that could be one factor, but I agree that the first touch need to be improved so that they will be able to make better progress when the ball is in their possession.
Mr. Jules, if your technique is good, doesn't matter what surface you play on, your technique has to be applicable to the surface that you play on. And if the players have good technique, their first touch would indicate what they do next.
Well, I'm not trying to refute that, but the thing is, if you cannot get a firm footing on the surface, sometimes it interferes with the quality of execution.
Your point is well taken, but again, for an argumentative sake, I will certainly listen to you, but I would have a different view on that. It might be that within the Grenadian context, because we are accustomed to playing on hard surface, hard bouncy surface, we find that most time the ball is very uneven in its bounce, and we have to be able to adjust ourselves accordingly. Notwithstanding that, however, it's a kick to Paradise FC, and it's in the middle third again, and I believe he might take a deep one. Player number 9 for Paradise makes a deep call, well taken by the keeper there. The keeper, Premier League goalkeeper, who now sends the ball quickly into the attack.
And Paradise again there.
Paradise seems to be winning more of the second balls.
Yeah,
And it might be that because they are playing first to the ball, they tend to win more of the second ball instead of Rangers playing on the reactive and on the proactive process.
That's correct. They're probably they're much fitter team than Rangers as well, and they're showing that because you can see their sharpness over the surface. They're very quick to the ball. They close down the opponent very fast, and of course that is part of their organization or the style of play.
And of course we have to remember that their coach, Cutty Rennie, who was a former national player,
Yes.
was the kind of player who was stick-to-itiveness, if we call it that. We're not disputing the fact that Mr. Nixon Modest, who is Queen's Park Rangers coach, was also a national player.
Yeah,
But again, it depends on...
Have had overseas experience too.
Very well.
Playing for, I think, was Portmore in Jamaica.
Portmore in Jamaica. But again, it's how the players react to your instruction as a coach.
Certainly, the coach must be able to get the players buy into what he offers as a system
His
of
philosophy.
play or his philosophy, and once he gets that done, then the players will go out and they will execute the plan easier than if they do not buy into it. But we have to commend both of them. As I said, they both served on the national team for quite a number of years. It is true Nixon would be the one with the most experience as a national player, and he would have captained Grenada for quite some time as well. Nevertheless, they are in a different seat right now. They are coaching, and let us see how the players will react to what they have put down as part of the preparation for the team for this third place playoff.
And we also have to comment on the effort to have both teams come this far. I mean, to have had your team playing for the finals because they got eliminated in the semi-finals. Had they won their 2 games, they would have been playing the finals.
Certainly,
so it is a commendable effort.
They were one match away from being into the finals.
One game away.
So
one win away.
One win away. So they have all done well.
Exactly.
They would have liked to do better, I'm sure. But nevertheless, third place is what we might call having something to look back to in the future.
Of course. And they could take a toast on that. I mean,
sure.
Sometimes we argue that the players always fight, but at the end of the game, both teams get together because, and we agree that we have a small community, and there might just be about 500 players who play football in this country.
Basically,
maybe 500-600 players who play football, and each player knows each one. So it is good at the end of the game. Maybe sometime you meet your colleague, you might be playing against him the day before, but the day after, hey, let's take a drink, let's drink something. Because it's one big family that plays the game.
But that is true, but it also builds that chemistry for serving on the national team as well. Those who make it or go ahead onto that next level.
So again, it's 1-0 to Paradise, and Paradise right now has ball in their possession, try to link up some plays, but again we noticed that when you make 2 passes, the play breaks down. I don't know if it's the player's technique or whether it is the condition of the ground. But if the ground has a bad condition, what we say is you keep possession. You play slower and you try to play the ball to foot.
Well, 2 things. Both teams are playing high pressure football. But at the same time, what I observe is that they're not giving width when they're in possession. They're playing very compact, so there isn't a lot of space to maneuver. And that's where your technical skill comes in. The team that could pass the ball better, and inclusive of the good first touch, would be the team that will triumph in those situations.
And what we also notice is that both teams are trying to play the long ball. In this kind of condition, the field being so uneven, the long ball would only put your player at a disadvantage. What we speak about now is ball possession, keep the ball, play it short, play slowly so that you can actually keep the ball and have the players move into positions where they can reach the ball.
And that transition play where you play, it seemed like a penalty. It seemed like a penalty. The forward.
So it's in the 37th minute of play, Paradise has been awarded a penalty kick. You actually witnessing now a foul before a foul which took place, and there is a penalty. It's a handball, right? Which is a form of a foul, of course, to be taken by Paradise on Rangers. Goalkeeper Gilbert, and the kicker would be, let's see who the kicker is. We will see after he would have made a kick, and he's taken it, and he buries it, and it is Rennie. We think it is Jake. That seems to be Jake Rennie.
Jake Rennie.
That's Jake Rennie.
Yes.
And Jake Rennie is wearing orange
number
gloves.
20, yeah, and he's wearing the number 20 shirt.
Jake Rennie, so both Rennies have scored.
Yes.
Shane Rennie
and Jake is the
and
captain.
Jake Rennie. So again, there are national players, so we expect that kind of performance from them.
Certainly.
But and Rangers, we also have some national players as well, who now have to settle down and play the game that the team deserves.
Yeah, we made the observation earlier that Paradise is sharper to the ball than Rangers has been so far through the match, and as a result, they're pressing high pressure football, put that Ranger player under immense pressure, and he hand the ball, and so Paradise won that penalty and converted, and leading the third place player by 2-0.
But again, Mr. Duke, we said 2-0 is not really a final result.
No.
Because you can get one back and then it's 2-1.
You need to get.
And when you believe that you have the game settled and done, the game is right open, 2-2, and you're wondering what happens next.
And here's a mistake here, and Rangers is in position now. It's a chance for them to cross coming, and it's a poor touch there, poor first touch, but Rangers still in possession, try to elude man, and the ball going to touch forward. So we just talk about 2 goals is not really a safe position to be in, and Rangers got a chance and let it go begging. So they're still in position here, and it's a long clearance here by Paradise, and that seems to be a corner here for Rangers.
Being taken by number 21, Charles.
So it's a long deep one, and with Paradise now they come out nicely, get past his man beautifully, and still is Paradise in position. A long ball is played and the keeper come out and win it for Rangers and make a long kick downfield. And the ball gone and touch, and it's going to be a throwing for Paradise.
And again, Mr. Jose, I come back to an earlier point I made where you expect that both teams to have to try and keep the ball based on the ground condition. Because the long ball is not really working here. We saw 2 touches by Paradise and then a long ball down the middle. The keeper came out and make a clearance. But if Paradise or Rangers would try to keep the ball more, they would give the players more chance to get into offensive position.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you more, but at the same time, the players have to believe. You have to believe that you can do it, and I'm not seeing Rangers players showing that level of confidence on the ball, and as a result, they're turning over the play quite easily. The passing is very poor, the support equally poor. You're not seeing players making that run diagonally, and others are converging towards the player with the ball to create space and confusion in the mind of the opponent. Excuse. And again, it's a long distribution, a good one though, and now Rangers come forward nicely. It's a good pass, they're in possession, the players look indecisive, and the cross was not a good one.
Not a good one, because there was no composure by the player. to make the cross properly, and therefore the ball went way out of the 18-yard box.
So Paradise in position just inside the defensive third. A nice little flick forward there, and for the player wearing the number 9 shirt, makes a lovely backheel to Rennie, and still beats his man. No,
yeah. And now you have player number 13. And it's a miss, and it's a goal there by Paradise again. Goal number 3. It was a good build-up from on the left side.
It was Wendell Rennie that made that run.
Yeah.
Bobo.
Yeah, it was Wendell Rennie who made the run. And we must comment on that back heel there from the left midfielder to Bobo running down the flank.
Certainly.
And he then made a cross there, and there we have Shane Rennie coming in and finishing that exciting bit of play. So the point that you made earlier about attacking on the flanks, somebody may have listened to you, maybe the coach heard you, and he told his players, hey, why not go on the flank? You may get something productive.
Well, if you have a player with a lot of pace and good dribbling skill, it is a wise choice to use your flank and give him that responsibility to take on the opponent, because once he gets past, it means that he eliminated 1 or 2 players and force the centre half to come to cover, which gives up space in front of goal in key areas. And that had happened, and you can see the end result.
So we have Paradise 3-0. 3 goals, Rangers 0.
And we're still in the first half.
And we're still in the first half, and Paradise now seem to have grown in confidence as they begin now to knock the ball around. We have, is that Bro?
Yes.
Bro, who is now playing with Paradise from Latas?
Yes.
Right, but he used to play with Hard Rock, very well, and he's now playing with more comfort and more composure.
Certainly.
Because his team is now 3-0 up, and the panic has gone out of his boots.
That's correct.
So he would control the ball and knock it to his players.
Whenever your team leads in a match like this, and the first half is not yet finished, 3 goals to lead, it helps build the players' confidence. And we're seeing it there as they move forward again in possession with the ball, and a foul is committed there. I think this time it's against Paradise, and it's going to be a kick to Queen's Park Rangers.
So for a team to have 3-0 down with about 2 minutes or 3 minutes to half.
Oh no, the ball through is given.
It shows Mr. Jules.
The foul was committed on
Paradise. Yeah. So it's a kick to Paradise. And to have 3-0 up with about 5 minutes or so to go before halftime sends a message, yeah? Because we see 2 Premier League teams finishing right in the top 5 within the Premier League, and one team having 3-0 up shows a good, a good repertoire of the difference between both teams and the quality of play.
That's correct. But again, here comes Paradise, they're in possession, and they give it up to Rangers, who momentarily retain position, and just witnessed the end of the first half of the 3rd place playoff between Paradise and Queen's Park Rangers, and we saw 3 goals being converted by Paradise. Rather, Paradise have had the better exchange in the first half, and as a result, they're going in with by 3 goals to 0. Your thoughts? Your thoughts? Your comments?
Jake Ray. So at halftime, the score 3-0 to Paradise.
Mr. Jules, it just what we have witnessed in the first half is a difference between 2 teams. One team, in my view, that would have had good preparation as compared to another team that came to play a game. And Paradise has shown that they wanted it more than Queen's Park Rangers. As a result of that, it is now, in my view, a foregone conclusion that to have 3-0 in the first 40 minutes indicates that within the second half, if Rangers go out to attack because they don't have a choice right now, in my view. They only leave gaps in the back, spaces in the back for Paradise to really, really, really get into and dominate.
Yes, teams, but Paradise seize the initiative and go forward and by leading 3 goals to nil. So Rangers commence the second half and plays in progress with Rangers making a long ball downfield and it got into touch and it's going to be a goal kick to Paradise.
Yes, Mr. Jules, and welcome back to viewers. We hope that this second half would be one where we have a really competitive half and that Rangers will try their best to get back into the game. They're down 3 goals to nil. Paradise has the upper hand, but you know, football is anybody's game. The field is flat, the ball is wrong. It's 11 against 11, so anything could happen. We see that Rangers would have made 1 change, whereas Paradise would have made 2 changes. I guess because they have 3 goals up, they're willing to use other players to really contest and see what they can do. So let's see what the second half will bring for both teams with regards to good football, entertaining football, and competitive games so that the spectators would really have a good time in enjoying the football that they would have paid to come to see.
The fall comment on the Paradise player, it was like a rugby match. Associated by the
that's Langdon.
Yes.
It's a new player who has joined Rangers. Actually, he's a police officer, and I don't know if he wanted to arrest that player because he was really pulling him to the ground. You know, I don't know where he learned that karate or whatever, but he did a good job in giving a fall onto the player.
That is more like judo, not karate.
Well, judo, karate, all of them are the same.
Nevertheless, I think for Rangers to make any dent into the match, they have to organize themselves better. They have to keep possession of the ball when they have it, and without doing so, I do not see them recovering from this position they're in right now. Nevertheless, there is still about 38 minutes because I think to go in the match, and all they need to do, at least as early as we speak, try and pull back a goal, and that would give them some level of confidence so that they can press a little bit more.
I can't agree with you more, Mr. Jules, but within the Grenadian context, a 3-0 down is virtually considered a done deal. But we know the quality that Rangers can produce. We know their talent, we know their footballing prowess over the years. They have done well at the GFA level. So I would not call it a closed door. It's an open game, and therefore, if they can score 4 goals in this half, they will actually win away winners. Let's wait and see, however.
Yeah, certainly. And comparatively, though, I'm not seeing Rangers trying to switch the point of attack from left to right and spreading the play. They seem to be playing down the middle all the time, and they give up position quite easily. So perhaps it's a good time for them to change that game plan and try to play the ball down the flank or keep possession, slow down the game a bit to, kind of change Paradise momentum, and that probably will give them a chance.
But what I like about the Paradise style of play, they have actually decided to maintain ball possession. If you notice how they started the second half, they're actually moving the ball around and giving the players time to really settle down and play the game, which is a good thing for the game of football. We are yet to see within Grenada and within this kind of condition a team that will be willing to hold the ball, look for the players, knock it around and keep the ball. And in this Paradise having been 3 goals up, they're now willing to share the ball among the players and consolidate the game and take it home to the final outing.
Yes, I think so. I've been talking about that for quite a while. The players on several teams in Grenada are not able to change the tempo of the game. They play at one tempo, at high speed continuously, and as a result of that, the rhythm of the team is not that smooth. And when you play like that, and it's a goal, it seems it's a goal now. It's gone into touch for a corner. It seems a goal.
It's over the bar. It's over the bar. And maybe, Mr. Jones, maybe it suggests that a team that has a number of national players, we know Paradise has about 4 national players. The Rennie brothers, they have been able to sort of stamp their authority on the style of play of Paradise, well, especially Jake and Shane Rennie.
Yeah.
Those 2 guys have been able to, over the years,
including Wendell
Rennie, who has been a wide player, who has played professional football in Trinidad. We know Jake had that stint in Germany, and Shane has had a stint in Trinidad, well. And now they're back, and they also play in America. Yes. So it could mean that because of the influence and the experience, they're able to, stamp their authority on the game that Paradise plays.
Yes, without a doubt, we can see that there. And they're playing in what we call in Grenada around the engine room of the team. It seems to be a goal here by Rangers pulled back.
Rangers has pulled back to goal. They have pulled back 1. Let's see who's that scorer. I wonder it is Langdon. Let's see.
The first back Rangers at the first goal coming in the 47th minute.
So the game is 3-1 now in favor of Paradise FC International.
Number 10. Let's see who is that.
That would be Brian Andrews.
Brian Andrews. That's a new name in Rangers. I don't have. I don't
he's
know.
He's a left footer. I notice he plays almost pure left footed.
You see,
it's good for the match, Griffith, to see Rangers converting or pulling back 1. All they need to do now is to keep that momentum, and if they could get another one, the match would be even wider open. Don't you think?
Well, yeah, but 3-1 down, it's still Paradise game to lose, but again, it's for the taking. Rangers has nothing to lose by going on the attack, which they showed, and therefore it's all for them to win and for Paradise to lose. But I must say as well that Rangers made an injection by bringing on Langdon, who is a police officer, playing for Rangers at present, and he seems to have created some problems because he's a big guy, good runner, and I know him as a good finisher. So maybe that would help the Rangers team to get their act together and put their bearings in place, at least
and that's
continue
true.
to press.
Physical presence sometimes could impact positively for your team on the game according to the position that you play. And as you say, he's a big, strong lad playing up front. I suppose so. That in itself would have, put some scare on the defenders for Paradise.
I'm wondering, Mr. Joseph, Paradise, they made a change with they removed the goalkeeper Jason Belfont and included as another keeper, I'm sure, Rennie. I'm wondering if given that just 5 minutes in the game gone, if they would not live to regret making that early change with the keeper.
Well, probably, but we do not know from here whether the goalkeeper that started had succumbed an injury. And if that was the case, then they had no choice. But if they would have made the change just to give the next player some playing time, probably later on they may come to regret doing so. So let's watch and see. It's quite early if we get that information as to why the change was made.
It's a corner to Rangers at this point, taken by Raquel Charles. That's the son of Ricky Charles, yes, former national player. And in the process, the ball is put into touch by Rangers throwing. Rangers seem to have settled along in this half and playing the ball pretty nice.
But it's an easy loss
Pretty
by
okay.
Cyrus.
And it's there in the defending third of Paradise. It's in the control of Rangers. Makes a deep cross there and well saved there by the keeper. Again, it's not Jason Belfont. It's another keeper who has been substituted.
That one looked like showing Rennie.
But Paradise is in control of the ball as we speak. The ball went down, is played on the left side with Rennie. Again has the ball under his control into the midfielder there who keeps it under his control, screens it well. And again, Paradise is trying to move the ball around. It's a good shot there. And it's ricocheted off one of the Paradise players, and it's an offside there. A good shot there anyway. Good build-up by Paradise, trying to get back that goal to make it a 3-0 margin as we speak.
So, it seems like there is going to be restarting. There were 2 balls on the field, so the referee asked to get one out of the field so that the game can continue. So the kick is taken now by the keeper for Rangers, a long one downfield, and they're tussling for it there. And it's with the goalkeeper for Paradise who comes out and takes it quite easily rather.
Yes, a good take by the keeper and plays the ball to his right defender, who now plays the ball from the right defender into touch, trying to find his right winger, or we call it the right midfielder. But again, the player is too close to the line.
Andrew seems to the vicious tackle there on Andrew, but he skipped it nicely and he went through it for Rangers. So the referee says it seems to be a foul through there, and the ball is easily turned over to Paradise.
You know, Mr. Joe, it's quite a while I've seen the referee blow for a foul through. He may have done something really blatant to have done a foul through.
Well,
when we look at the English Premier League and we look at international games, very rarely, because in my view the referee is trying to get the game played as quickly as possible, keep the momentum going, yes. So he may have done something really rash for it to be a foul through.
I believe so. Nevertheless, play continues and it's going to be a through for Rangers. So the game has become a little bit sloppy rather. We are not seeing that lovely combination play, especially by Paradise we saw in the first half.
Yeah, but again, a game has 2 halves, and so far, QPR, which is Queen's Park Rangers, is winning the second half by a goal to 0. So unless Paradise does something differently, we can see that Paradise was more offensive in the first half, but not that offensive in the second half.
Certainly, and I think Rangers would have changed their game plan a little bit, and that is working for them at the moment. So here they come again in possession with the ball, and the player is fouled in the process.
Oh, the player fell?
The referee said no foul, it's a through for Paradise, and they come forward quickly down that flank there, he beats his man nicely. It could be, it's a powerful shot taken and then whizzed past the upright.
It's a powerful, wild shot, because I would consider not having the keeper make a save is a wild off the target. And when you're just about 20 yards outside of the goal line, within the goal area, the keeper should at least
try and hit the target.
Yeah, hit the target. The keeper should at least.
Here is Rangers with save. Andrew in possession here. He's trying to beat his man. They pass him momentarily and he wins it through. No, it's a goal kick for Paradise.
So we've noticed that Paradise is so confident that they could afford to change 2 goalkeepers in one game.
Yeah, when you're on a high, you tend to be able to do that, like they've done, and they're playing within themselves, and of course they're in the lead by 3 goals to 1. So I think probably they're just also trying to give that youngster some playing time as well.
But it also indicates that they're so confident that they could risk changing their number 1 keeper and bringing in the number 2 keeper in the second half.
Yep.
Even with a 3-0 margin, even with the fact that they may concede a goal within the first 10 minutes.
So it's in the corner here for Rangers.
They are willing to move to an extent where they would allow the number 1 keeper to be rested.
Yes.
It's a good effort. It shows that they're very, very daring.
Very
daring as a team.
Yeah. So the corner goes in now. It's one that is cleared, and it seems to be a throw-in now for Rangers. So the throw goes in now, a long one. It's in the box a little bit, and Paradise come out nicely with it. And then it is won back by Rangers. Rangers come forward again, a nice chip down there, and cleared by Paradise, and it's going to be a throw-in for Rangers. And the throw is taken quickly. Rangers on the attack, and a good clearance, the timely clearance there by Paradise, and it seems to be a corner here for Rangers. So Rangers is having the better exchange at the moment, Roger.
Well, yes.
And the ball is head over the bar.
What would be nice is to have Rangers score a second goal to see how the tension is going to be built between the both teams. Because we agree that 2-0 is not a winning margin, and now we have 3-1, it's still at 2-0. But we make it midway between the second half. If Rangers were to score a second goal, we will be in for a very, very, very enticing and challenging 20 minutes of play.
I believe so. They've come close on 2 occasions, so probably all they need to do is press, and it's a very good save by the young goalkeeper for Rangers, and he come forward and make a long distribution downfield, and it is with Andrew. Yes, Andrew, and Rangers lose it again to Paradise, and Paradise now look to come forward, but Rangers is position again, and it's a poor clearance, and it's a throw-in for Paradise.
Question of whether, Mr. Jules, whether this football meets the expectation of the public. It's something that needs to be looked at, because that's the referee didn't call it. He says a goal kick, but I thought the player went down in a harsh tackle there, and that seems to have been Shane Rennie. But the referee didn't blow. He pointed to the goal for a goal kick. One wonders whether the quality of play is justified here with the quality of the Grenadian football in itself, because we see 2 of the top teams in Grenada, and there again we have Hurricanes and GBS play the final. So we have 4 Premier League teams playing in the last 4 teams within the competition. Whether this would really justify the quality of our football in Grenada, given that we understand the ground is poor because we have had a couple of weeks of rain. It's very uneven, but does that really indicate the level of, or should we wait until we would have witnessed the final to make a justification?
Well, maybe so, but at the same time, we have to say yes tentatively, simply because the teams are out there, and it's a goal number 4 for Paradise. The players out there, many of them form part of our national team, and we cannot go except outside of Grenada, except when we bring in some players maybe from England who have are of Grenadian parenthood. Nevertheless, the quality we're seeing there, we can take it to see that that is the quality of football that we play here, despite the poor condition of the field as we witness this third place playoff. if you ask me whether the fans are getting value for dollar, or is that what they come to see, I would say no. Nevertheless, that's what we are witnessing, and I believe that our football needs to be improved.
But imagine in the 59th minute, remember we have another 20 minutes to play, and it is 4-1 to Paradise, knowing the quality of football that we get over the years, and we would have gotten over the years from Queen's Park Rangers, and having a 4-1 deficit now to Paradise. And these are two of our better Premier League teams in Grenada. That has to indicate something about our football.
Well, yeah, but admittedly, we have to understand that Rangers, to me, is in a long transition phase, longer than they would have planned for, I assume. And they have been rotating players over the last 3 or 4 years or so. And when you have to do that, the momentum to kind of regain your strength would be impeded by some way, because it's not the players that you have together like building that nucleus on a consistent basis. So I think that's something we have to take into consideration for the quality that they're displaying at the moment.
Yeah, but also we have a situation where you have the coach playing for Rangers.
Right.
Right. I mean, isn't it that we can get players from the community to represent your club to have the coach play for your Premier League team?
Right.
You know, that is something that we need to, because if you have a good youth program and we're looking at transition, it means that after 4 years, it's like going to primary school, you get results. You know, I put education with the resulting factor over a 5-year span.
Right.
Right? So you start to get students doing exams, etc. over within the 5th year, and therefore they should start graduating to secondary and tertiary. I would say that within the fraternity of the football world, if we're talking transition, how long should we wait to ensure that players graduate from one level to the next? Because we have seen the same Rangers team would have gone through this Waggy T tournament playing very well. Now they come up to Paradise, who would have lost in the last semi-finals on penalty kicks to Hurricanes.
Yes.
Right, but now they are losing to Paradise 4 goals to 1.
1.
How are we able to justify that quality, given that the ground is bad, given that we had a lot of rain, etc.? But in terms of player for player, how do we justify that a team losing 4 goals to 1? Is it that they are demotivated?
Well, I think a couple of things. Yes, I agree with you that we could say a team should emerge within 24 to 36 months, right, as a transition phase, because they would have maintained some of the experienced players and add young, inexperienced players. Nevertheless, I think one of the factors today probably is the mental preparation for the match. I don't think they were prepared mentally. You can see that. You've seen the match is still in progress, but you could see they are not organized when with or without the ball to make a positive impact on the match itself. Right? Players are out of position most of the time. Either they're late or they're not where they should be. Technically, you see that the first touch, which you mentioned earlier, is very poor. So there is a number of areas that they need to work on. And you can't work on it in a match. It has to be done within your preparation phase.
Yes. But you see, again, my argument is Paradise could have, run the risk of changing the number 1 keeper to bring in, if you want to say, a number 2 keeper, and still maintain that same quality of play.
Well, that goes with the preparation and the level of confidence. You see, when you as a coach get the players to believe in themselves, right? That helps to raise or increase or improve their performance, right? Um, Perhaps one of the factor I needed to point out here, when you have the coach on the field, who assess the match, and what kind of you know direction he can give his team, being on the field playing together with the other players. Not much, because you cannot see too much as a coach being on the field of play.
And then Rangers would have made in the second half. They would have changed Ricky Charles. I don't know if he was injured or if he volunteered not to continue, but to have replaced one of your senior players. I don't know if there was an injury or for whatever reason, the chemistry, whatever, for Langdon, who is not a recognized Premier League player.
Right.
Says a lot. And you still have on the field of play your captain, coach, who is there marshalling. Okay, we know this that he can't play, but you know, when you look at the subs that you have, if you're building, and you did mention transitional phase, if you're rebuilding, you have to rebuild with experience plus youth, but you also need to have your coach to guide you.
Of course, I mean, if the coach is on the bench with the other players, then he's going to be in a better position to assess his team performance.
Oh, and it's a goal there by Rangers. So Rangers has scored as goal number 2.
So it's 4-2. So yes, rather what I was saying, if the coach on the bench, now he would be in a better position to assess the match moment by moment, right? And to give better instructions to the players on the field. Where he's at out there on the field, then he makes his job very difficult or with greater challenge to determine what strategy we must use. Can we change these players? Where are the weaknesses of the opponent that we play against, and how do we counter-attack that? So I think in the future, perhaps he have players he should try not to be on the field.
Yes, but right now we have Queen's Park Rangers. They're winning the second half 2-1.
Well, certainly.
Because it's 2-1 in the second half.
In the context of the match,
in the context of the game. So if a game is based on 2 halves, you say that
Paradise won the first half, right? With 3
and on
goals.
top of that, the more goals you score in your half, the better for you.
That's true.
Fortunately for Paradise, they would have scored 3 goals in their half, first half.
Yes.
And now Rangers has scored 2 goals in their half. So let us see how the game would, it's 4-2 now. Let us see how the game would end up, based on what's happening.
So Paradise come and of course shot is taken, and
it's from Jake Rennie.
Yes. So
it's another corner.
It's
a corner
for Paradise.
It's a good save there from goalkeeper Gilbert. He had to put his body in the way. He said you put your body in the line of fire. He put his body in the line of fire. The bullets came at him and he was able to. He didn't duck it.
Nullify the bullet.
But he was able to use his armor, his foot, his body, his boots, everything to prevent the ball from scoring.
Yes, so talking Rangers, I believe this is some things that they must do. The coach must believe in the players, that he do not have to find himself on the field of play. Because if you're building, you want to be able to evaluate what you've done or assess it during the match and go back to the drawing board and prepare for the match following. You cannot do that with that level or degree of confidence when you find yourself on the field playing together with the players that you prepare. And I don't think it's the best method for success.
Well, we could argue of players who in the past did it. as Sri folks did it. He was a player coach for Fontenoy, right? And there are quite a number of persons in the past who did it. But the contemporary coach, who would have all the skills and the qualities to conduct his coaching on the field of play, off the field of play, sorry.
Yeah.
We agree that should be on the side helping his team.
Yeah, but looking at Ram as an example, which for the most part, he will come in maybe 15-20 minutes into the game. And by that time, he would have been able to assess the match, and when he come on, he would make that create that impression that help his team to gain an advantage. Whereas comparatively, you have Rangers
and there's a handball there. That seems to be it's a dangerous area, and it's a penalty for Rangers. And we come into, Mr. Jules, we said so. We come into a very, very, very exciting part of the game, where if they convert a speed penalty, it might just be that a one goal difference.
Yes, 1 goal difference.
So again, a game is won in 2 halves.
Certainly.
How you perform in each half will determine how the game ends.
And Rangers, as we say, is winning this half.
Well, they would be winning this
at
one
the
3 goals
moment,
to 1 based on how things are. So we 7-7. So we make it about 5 minutes more.
And he scores.
And he scores, and that's a hat-trick for the surprise.
Andrew scored 3 for Rangers.
Scoring a total of 6 goals. Brian Andrews.
And 5 minutes is a lot of time to actually to score another goal to equalize.
Well, again, we agree that.
And plus, there may be extra time.
Panic began to
set in with
Paradise. They made some changes, which we thought they could have done differently.
All right.
But
can we say that they're going to regret making the change with the new goalkeeper?
I would say that they could have done it. I would say that they could have done it differently, because you know, with that 3-0 up, you had the game sealed, but you made some changes, and now you realize that hey, it's now 4-3, and panic begins to step in. So let's see, but about 5 minutes remaining, how the game would end up. It's a very exciting game at this point, but now Paris is on the attack. When they're ready, plays the ball in, and we see the ball on the left side of the field.
And the players lost their footing momentarily, and it's going to be a throw, it seems to.
But you see, Mr. Juice, again, we talk, when you are a goal up with a few minutes to go, why hustle the game? Why not control the game? Let the opposition come to you. Let them come because they want to win. And when you create a space, you then would be able to punish them.
But time and time again, we see that in Grenada's football. The team leading, and they're not, what we say, thinking that they should consolidate their position. They're rushing, forgetting that we are in the lead and we're in possession of the ball. We must be able to dictate the pace of the game. They don't do that. They're trying to convert another goal and making themselves open and granting the opponent an opportunity or a chance.
Exactly. And this is what Paradise has done. We spoke about they were more motivated, they may have trained more than Rangers, but at the end of the day, it's which team score more goals that will win the match.
And yes, you can safely say, despite Paradise is leading by 4-3, you can say that the match is even. Because 1 goal difference is just 1 goal. It's just somebody gets a chance and put it in the back of the net, and here they are level, or even Steven. And
I wouldn't be surprised now that Venus is on the attack, and they're bearing down on Paradise goal, but again, the ball is kicked into touch by a defender from Paradise. And the game is topsy-turvy, as we call it. We call it up and down football.
And here, Rennie comes and the shot goes in, but easily collected by
that's
Gilbert.
That's a weak shot by Rennie. That's a weak shot.
So again, we see even Rangers is panicking because that distribution was a panic distribution, and here we see Paradise coming forward now in numbers, and that could spell trouble. But again, the final pass was
The weight of that pass was easily collected by
and
the
offside is
goalkeeper.
called on that player there. He just made his run a little too early and went into an offside position.
But it's good. It is good, Mr. Jules, when you have an open game with free-flowing football and plenty goals. This game had seven goals so far, which, very rarely in Grenada you have so many goals being scored in one match. Unless it's penalty kicks.
Good. So we can say that over the last 25 minutes or so, the game did improve. Well, when someone comes to watch a football match, they do not expect just fancy play. They expect to see goals. And of course, so that in itself, it's good for the third place player. We have witnessed 7 goals coming so far, and the match probably is about 5 minutes away to closure.
It might be a case where, and as we agreed, where Paradise knowingly this is a third place playoff, they may have made some changes to give some new players a run on the field.
Yeah.
Right? Because they would have expected to have won this tournament, having won the GFA Premier League, and therefore they saw this as a chance to give new players a run onto the field. But on the other hand, Rangers, having some new players, did not give them that opportunity to come on the field and exhibit their skill.
Right, and that is not a good method. And look, I put effort here by the goalkeeper, and he almost conceded goal number 5.
I don't know if the goalkeeper was playing Russian roulette because he heeled the ball back on the field and he was off the field. So you wonder what happened to the keeper. The keeper was playing Russian roulette with that one.
I think so. So again, look, Sophie play and really win the ball from, and the referee made a call. Rangers play a long ball downfield and headed out into. It's still with Rangers as they come forward. A long ball is played there. So Rangers look much better at the moment. Rather, they're still in possession.
Well, they seem to be playing more positive now and putting in some punchlines into the game. And it's like, what a miss. It's offside.
He's offside.
I think he's offside because we heard the whistle. But I'm looking to see if the linesman flag was up. It's not indicated here. But, maybe that was equalizing goal because we don't know if it was offside or what.
We're not sure, but
we're not sure.
That opportunity should have been taken.
Well, in Grenada we missed the easy ones and we scored the hard ones. That was an easy one.
That was an easy one. So the match has changed a little bit momentum here, and Paradise look the pacey of the two players there, but the ball is going to be a goal kick for Queen's Park Rangers.
What I like and an observation is the atmosphere in which the game is played. Both teams, there is nothing competitive in terms of animosity between the players and the both teams. So they really, I can't believe that was the pass that this player made. But both teams are really having fun, and like we said earlier, when the game ends, they may just go and have a drink, and we couldn't win the bacon, but at least we are in it.
You smell the ham.
We still in it to smell it, So one player got a knock on his face in the process, though, and player number 10, who is our hat trick player, player for the night, and the player who has so far the most goals of the tournament. At least, besides winning the third place playoff, they're going home with the player of the tournament, which is a good thing, given the nature of the tournament and the days and the weather, etc.
They have to count themselves as a team that have done well in the competition, even though they are playing for third place. because, as we said, they were just one win away from being in the final.
Exactly.
And you know, that in itself means that you progressed up to that point. It's only that you lost the match at the semi-finals. So Paradise is keeping position now, trying to ensure that, but it's given up there, and a little chip made by Rangers, but it's right back in position with Paradise, and a long kick downfield, and it's go into touch, and it's going to be a throw in for 2 minutes extra time. The Rangers has only 2 minutes to get that equalizing goal. What do you think with it? Is it possible that they may equalize, or would we say it's in favor of Paradise to win the third place, given the way the match went so far? So the coach is giving signal and say to his Rangers players to press, push, come and press high, and it's a foul there against Paradise, and Rangers is in position, and probably that might be the last throw.
Or you make it 2 minutes, so you expect that it might be a minute and a half, which would give you roughly about, 2 attacking plays, this kick, and maybe another one. So Rangers would have to make this one
So the
best.
long ball is played, and
they
it could
are
be
to.
dangerous, and
Good
it
defending there.
is
Good
well
defending
defended
there
by Paradise.
to get
And it
the
seems
ball
to be a
out of
corner
touch.
for Rangers or a throw-in. Let's see what happens. The way players are assembling, it seems to be a corner.
Somebody said it was a throw-in, but the
Yeah,
referee
one
indicated
Paradise player indicating
corner.
that it is a throw-in,
So
but
this
the
is-
referee
this-
say, I'm in charge here,
This
it's
is
going to be a corner.
is what they have to convert this one.
So it comes in a
and make
low
it
one,
good.
and it's a poor corner, and it's
The referee,
possession with
that player is
Paradise.
looking at his boots, but I think he's
And-
wearing his boots. To kick the ball where he kicked it. It's not a boot that kicked the ball. He was in charge of the kicking of the ball.
But in a situation like that, Griff, I believe you let your best player go and take the corner.
Or he might be the best player. You never know.
The best of the worst.
But I don't know. But how would you allow a player of that nature to kick that ball there when you may have better players there? So this would be the final kick. I make it.
But again,
For,
Griff, having said
Rangers.
that is all part of your preparation. When you're doing your set pieces, you are firm as the coach, and you ensure that the players know who that player would be taking that kick whenever and wherever the infringement occurs. We have not seen that, right? When an infringement is committed, almost any player just determined that he's going to take the kick, and that is not good.
Well, I
strategy.
agree with you that it is a preparation, and if you're ill prepared, then obviously you would ill play. You would not play to the best. So players who normally would not kick corners would do that because and it's the end of the game. It's the end of the game. We have seen here Paradise winning the third place position. 4-3. Queen's Park Rangers not being able to convert that fourth goal, and Paradise placing third. Mr. Jules, your comments on the performance of both teams?
Well, given the physical condition of the surface of the field, we have to commend both teams for a good performance. It is not of the highest, nevertheless. They tried, and we saw 7 goals being scored, 3 by Queen's Park Rangers and 4 by FC International Paradise, who emerged winners of the third place player. But we have also witnessed Brian Andrew for Queen's Park Rangers scoring all 3 goals, which is a hat-trick, and he's also the player that has the most goals in the tournament. So we witnessed one of the better matches despite of the condition of the field, and we must say congratulations to Paradise